Good morning, Rose Red Homestead, and today we are going to talk about self-reliance and food security. With food prices the way they are, none of us are wasting very much around our homes these days. And so that's why I put the title of this video, Don't Toss Those Broccoli Stems. And probably many of you don't already, but just in case anyone does, these are broccoli stems. I've cut the florets off. I'm going to do something else with them, and I'm left with these stems. And a lot of times people just toss these, but these hold wonderful nutrition and they cook up beautifully in a number of ways. So we're going to talk about one particular way today, and I'm going to demonstrate that, but then I'm going to give you some other ideas and send you to a website if you're interested in these other ways to use broccoli stems. So the website that has some of these recipes will be below in the video description, and here's what they talk about on this particular website. Broccoli rice, broccoli hummus, if you like hummus, using it for vegetable broth, and then broccoli stem slaw. And I have tasted broccoli stem slaw, try to say that 50 times fast. Broccoli stem straw, no, broccoli stem straw. I
can't even say it twice.
I know it. Broccoli stem slaw. That's what it is.
I thought it was straw.
And it is really, really good. But today what we are going to do is we're going to make up a broccoli soup concentrate. And that way I'm going to keep the concentrate in the refrigerator, and then I will thin it down with milk, or you could do cream if you wish, or half and half, but I'll be doing skim milk when I thin it down. And I am making this recipe up as I go. So I'm going to try to measure stuff and jot it down, so at least I can put this recipe in the description below, but feel free to just mess around with it any way you want to. So I have this measuring dish right here, that I'm going to be measuring the broccoli, so at least we can get some idea of how much broccoli we started with. And then in this dish I have one smallish medium onion, and I have just a small carrot sliced. I like to put carrot in broccoli soup. It just adds a little bit of sweetness. And then I have a couple of cloves of garlic, and that's it. And then we're going to be cooking these down, and then adding some chicken broth, and then we will run it through the blender. So that's essentially what we're going to be doing. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and start our butane stove that we use right here in the kitchen. And Jim has set up our carbon monoxide alarm, and we've got a couple of doors cracked in the back. And even though this is safe to use in the kitchen, we take those extra precautions anyway. So I'm going to move that heat down a little bit, and then I'm just going to put, probably about a tablespoon, maybe a little bit more, of olive oil in the bottom of the pan and let that heat. And then the next thing I'm going to do is just to chop these stems. Now I have some already cut up in here that I did before we opened the video, but I just wanted you to see about how thin I am cutting these. And so these little slices, or coins as they're sometimes called, I imagine they're about 1/8 of an inch thick, maybe 1/4 of an inch thick. So there are a few of these little leaves in here as well, and that's just fine. All right, so this looks like it is about, and that oil is smoking, so I need to get this in. About 5½ cups. Okay, so this is just going to go in. I'm also just going to add these veggies as well. Remember, 1 carrot, 1 onion, and a couple of cloves of garlic. I'm just going to put the lid on, turn this down a little bit, And we're going to let those steam until they are soft. I may need to add a little bit of water. I'll be checking it every few minutes, but we'll be back when everything is all soft. So Jim is up a tree on the stepladder and he's making me nervous. We have an overhead camera, but we need to wait for a new sound system to get it going. Anyway, this is done, so we are going to lift off the lid. A couple of times I added just a little bit of water to make sure things didn't burn. And now I'm going to make the bouillon, the broth. I discovered yesterday that I am totally out of those lumps will disappear as we go here. Totally out of my own home-canned broth, which means I will be making more here very soon. All right, now that this is soaking in the broth, the veggies, it took about 25 minutes for them to get fork tender. So now we're going to boil this for about 10 minutes to make sure everything is super soft, and then we will blend it up. So we'll be back in about 10 minutes. So this boiled for 10 minutes and then it is cooled for about 10 minutes. And the next step is for us to blend it. So I'm going to just scoop in and get a couple of scoops. We don't want to do too much at a time. It gets a little bit explosive when it's hot. So that's probably enough for a start. Now you can blend this to the consistency that you wish. We like quite a fine soup. And so as you can see, it's very thick, which is why we're doing it as a concentrate. Now I'm going to put it all in here simply because I may not get equal amounts of solids and liquids as I am blending. And before I put it in a couple of jars for putting in the refrigerator, I just want to be sure that it's the same consistency throughout. So we'll come back when this is all blended. We'll stir this together. It's very thick. The beauty of doing this as a concentrate is that individuals can then thin it down to their liking. So let's see if we can figure it. This made exactly 4 cups of soup. So that is great. I take about a cup of soup when I'm having soup like this. Now what I will do is I will mix a little bit of skim milk in mine. Jim, how are you going to fix yours?
I have no idea yet.
Okay, so we'll experiment around a little bit.
Yep.
Probably a little bit of milk. If you want it dairy-free, then you can just thin it with water. Before I taste it, I know it's going to need some salt and pepper, so I'm going to put in about a half a teaspoon of salt. Just a little pinch of pepper. If you like a really thick soup, you can eat it just like this. I like it just a little bit thinner. It's delicious. It is absolutely delicious. Now, what you can do with this also is you can add cheese to it and make broccoli cheese soup. Now, I have cheese powder, so I could just stir some cheese powder in here as well. So right now, we're just going to put it into this quart jar. So technically that's a little bit more than 4 cups, so that's 4 cups right there. This will go into the refrigerator. Sometimes Jim and I eat at different times, and so this will allow us to just pull out what we want. Now I'm not going to put it in the fridge yet, it's still quite warm. So what I will do here is show you how I will mix it for me. All right, so I am just going to add a little milk until I like the consistency. Oh, that is perfect. That's perfect. So now I've made cream of broccoli soup. I'm going to stick this in the microwave and heat it up a little bit, bring it back and plate it so you can see how I'm going to serve it to myself. And Jim, if you want a few bites, you're welcome to.
Thank you.
All right, this is just out of the microwave. In the bowl it goes. And this was about a cup. And then I'm going to just sprinkle some cheese on the top and garnish with a couple of little broccoli spears. And there is my lunch, broccoli soup. So I'm going to take a bite of this and let you know how it is with that little bit of milk. It's really, really good. Very nutritious. It has a lot of vitamins and minerals in it. And the great thing is that we now have a quart of this that will go in the refrigerator, 4 cups, and each of us can just go in and get a cup as at random whenever we want for either a little snack, a little bit of lunch, or as a side dish for a larger meal. So this broccoli soup is wonderful. It is made from something that some people generally throw away, which I love it when we can do things like that. So I hope that you will try this recipe or invent your own. That's the fun part about doing cooking. And thanks so much for joining us, and we will see you at our next video.